What's up, Internet? This is Hourglass Gaming. And for today's video, I want to talk about a game called Lovely Planet, which I've been playing a fair amount of recently. I kind of late, have been really antsy about the games that I've been playing. I've been playing a little bit of Titanfall, a little bit of Warlords of Draenor, a little bit of this and that, and I just can't settle on one game right now. And I have just really not known what to play. Every time I sit down and play something, I get bored really quickly, and then I switch to something else, and that also gets boring. But so I've been trying out some new games, and one of the games that I tried out is on PC, and it's called Lovely Planet, and it's this first-person shooter, sort of puzzle, sort of race game that really reminds me a lot of the kind of games that I played when I was growing up. It's very simple. Most of the objects in the world are pretty simple, like squares and cones and diamonds. And, the graphics are pretty primitive and the gameplay mechanics are really simple, but it's still, I think, a pretty elegant game. And so there's no story that I can surmise. Most of the words are written in an Asian language that I don't understand. But so basically I have no idea why you're doing what you're doing, but there's essentially evil squares and good squares, and you run through the world and you shoot the evil squares, and the goal is to get through it as quickly as possible. When you finish each level or puzzle, it puts you up on a scoreboard compared with everyone else who's ever completed it. And so you're trying to complete the levels as quickly as possible. And this is complicated by the variety of different problems that they put in your path. So there's the enemies, which you have to kill all of. If you take a shortcut and miss an enemy, then it won't let you complete the mission. And then there's also these sort of apples that get popped up into the air, and when they hit the ground, then you reset. There's also spikes on the ground, and eventually the enemies get homing missiles that they shoot at you. And also the enemies at the start of the game shoot kind of just basic purple diamonds at you that if they hit you, you reset. And so the game is complicated by the kind of variety in which all of these are thrown in your path. Sometimes you need to shoot multiple apples out of the air before they hit the ground. Sometimes you are in a compromised position when someone shoots a homing rocket at you, so you have to kind of be able to twitch your way out of that. And it's also complicated by the speed with which you're attempting to move through the environment. This game has a sort of arena shooter-like movement. You can move very quickly if you're determined to, and you also maintain control of your directional movement while you're in the air, which can create some really interesting gameplay mechanics. I find it really difficult because it's not intuitive, and so I end up kind of stopping moving in the air a lot, and then I miss the platform that I'm trying to jump onto. But in general, I think it's a excellent game. It's obviously not the kind of game that you're going to pour hundreds of hours into unless you really fall in love with it, and I guess that could be the case with some people. But I think in general, it's just kind of a fun, nice diversion from the kind of normal games that you're going to play. And I don't know, it's just I think it's an aptly named game because it is really lovely. The music's just nice, and the kind of art style is simple and elegant in its own kind of way. And I think it's just a pleasant game to play. And it's a nice diversion. It's not the kind of game that I would ever really get invested in, but it's an enjoyable thing to whittle away a few hours with. It's pretty cheap on Steam. I think I got it for $3. It might have been on sale, but it's very cheap. And I think it's definitely a worthwhile game to explore. It really reminds me of the games that I played when I was growing up, when games weren't really what they are now, where they're these huge crazy things. It's there's just a simple couple concepts that are thrown together, and it's just something to spend a couple hours on. And so I've been really enjoying it, and I encourage other people who might be looking for a game to play to check it out. If you enjoyed the Portal games, it's not anything like Portal, but it's kind of a similar idea where it's a first-person shooter that isn't about just killing people, and it's about figuring out how to move through the world less than about killing certain numbers of enemies or something. So yeah, that's about all for today's video. I'd love to hear what you guys think of the game if you've played it, or if you have your own indie titles that you like to play when you're not playing other games, then let me know what those are. As always, if you'd like to see more gameplay and commentary, don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.